a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert.
And Charlie.
Oh man, hey Charlie.
Hey Robert.
We got invited to go to Horror Club to watch a scary movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder if our friend Josh from Super Scary would want to go to that. Like, he likes horror movies.
Funny you say that, because Josh is right here.
What?
Oh my god, I just walked in. This totally wasn't planned at all.
No, not whatsoever.
None at all.
This hasn't been on the schedule for like ever.
God. Oh man, I don't know how we're gonna plan season 2. That's gonna be a wild ride. Anyway, we are here today to look at season 1, episode 41, Horror Club, which premiered February 12th, 2015. Josh, if you would like to remind everyone who you are, what you do, and tell us why you chose this episode.
Absolutely.
Well, I chose this episode for him.
Yeah, I was voluntold that this episode would be for me. Hello everyone. I am Josh from Super Scary, the lovely horror movie podcast on the Deus Ex Media Network. So had to hop on and help my pod siblings over here cover this episode because it doesn't have as many horror movie references as the previous episode I was on, but it does have some nonetheless.
Yeah, we've had you on for Frybo and Rose's Room, and those were two pretty freaky episodes.
Did we have him on for Cat Fingers, or was that the one we forgot?
That was the one we forgot.
Right.
Cat Fingers was the. I mean, it's Frybo and then Cat Fingers like back to back.
Yeah.
So like,
is this Josh's third appearance? I thought this was his fourth. I thought he's been on 3 times.
This is Josh's
my
third time.
Third time, yeah.
Frybo, Rose's Room, and then Horror Club.
Frybo, Rose's Room. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Look at that. I believe that makes Josh our most recurrent guest.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at me go.
Listen, this season is just pretty spooky, okay?
And I think actually, because I'm looking through the schedule right now, I believe Josh will be for this season definitively our most concurrent returning guest. So everyone, round of applause for Josh.
You know how I do.
We know how you do. So yes. Charlie, do we have any mail?
Do we have any mail? I don't believe I saw
we have one right here,
earlier. So this true. There's a singular mail on the pod.
Boo.
As you should, every time.
No
mail.
Oh, Sam only has the one episode. That's whack. Let's bully Sam into another episode. Anyway,
next. What would we get Sam on for?
What do we have left that we could possibly get Sam on for? Political power. Fuck it. Why not?
Oh no.
Oh no. So no mail?
No mail. None today.
None today. So I suppose we can just start looking into the plot. So the episode starts off. Yeah, for some reason, this little cartoon Steven Universe has a plot that is overarching and gets more developed as the show goes on, and more traumatic.
Listen, this is a dramatic episode. It's mostly developing our side characters, but like, damn.
because the new season of Doctor Who just finished at the time of recording, and one of the complaints I saw, and there's also the complaints for like a bunch of shows that are out now and about these days, Percy Jackson, Fallout, whatever new Star Wars show is out, is that people are all complaining about how there are like it's like 8 to 10 episodes per season now, and people are like, ugh, yeah, it's because of the filler. I'm like, we need the filler. What are you talking about? This is how we get to know our characters, and that's exactly how we get to know Sadie, Lars, and Ronaldo more in this episode.
I love the quote-unquote filler episodes. One, I don't believe in filler because it's all important. Like, every episode is going to do something for your characters, your show. Like, the only filler episode of Steven Universe is the non-canon Uncle Grandpa episode. and yet, it still develops things.
The thing is, the concept of the word filler applies to when, animes were adapting mangas and the anime would reach the point where the manga's at. So they're like, well, we got to wait for more chapters to get written. Time to put our characters in a bunch of bullshit for like 3 weeks or whatever, or a month until we get new chapters.
Or like 4 episodes of flashbacks during a big battle scene. I'm looking at you, Naruto, and but I'm sure there's others that do that. But Frank just recently watched. My husband just recently rewatched Naruto, and they do that a lot. And I was like, so are we going to advance the plot at any point?
I'm pretty sure.
No? Okay.
There are plenty of websites for like how to watch a show, quote unquote, correctly if you just want to get through all the plot points.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate that. Canceled.
There's, oh gosh, what is it? I think it's for Star Trek The Next Generation, because that's a long show with a lot of non-plot related episodes. There is a website that's like, hey, here's how you can watch like out of, I think it's like 200 episodes or whatever. Here's how you can watch 50 and you can get all the basic plot points down 100%, and it's great, and it develops character and blah blah blah.
And here I am, like, my favorite episodes of Sailor Moon are all those filler episodes. Like,
Yeah.
I love just like seeing an episode centered around someone who's not Sailor Moon, but I also love the episodes that are centered around her that also still have nothing to do with the fucking plot. Like, it's just
I acknowledge that Sea of Monsters is the shortest Percy Jackson book, and yeah, having eight episodes is probably about what we would have gotten normally. Can we get like 12 for Titan's Curse? Can we just get like progressively more episodes? This is
Be
Disney's
nice.
most successful show that is not Disney or that's not Star Wars or Marvel. Like, come on, please. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Steven Universe. The episode starts with Sadie and Lars are closing the Big Donut, and Lars is joking. He's like, hey, Sadie, hurry up or I'm gonna lock you in. Oh.
And then Steven, like, just appears out of nowhere, scares the shit out of Lars. But he's coming to pick up Sadie to go to, a movie night, a horror movie night. Really cool, It's poppin'.
We love
And
to
they
see it.
invite Lars to come with them.
Yeah, and then Lars is like, who's throwing the party? Oh, it's Ronaldo. He's like, Ronaldo, that social napalm. That's the word he says. And I'm like, damn, Ronaldo. Okay.
It's like, all right, damn, what you got against him?
Well, we're gonna find out what he has against him.
Yeah.
We sure are.
Do we? I apologize to the listeners that I have not watched the episodes before this at this point. It's been a while since I rewatched the entirety of the series, but do we have any sort of groundwork prior to this that Lars doesn't like Ronaldo, or is this kind of like the first interaction of these characters?
This is kind of the first interaction, I think, of these two characters, right? Other than like maybe the rave. Were they both at the rave with Stefani?
Probably. Like, they've been in the background together, but they've never, like, it's never been an interaction like this where it's like the main thing or even really focused on at all. I mean, Lars's whole thing has been trying to get in with the cool kids. So, like, I guess we can kind of tell based on that and how he thinks of Ronaldo, like, why he's not seen with him. Why that's not an interaction that happens very often. But you know what? He doesn't want to get FOMO, so he runs after them and joins in on this horror night.
And where is the horror club movie thing being thrown?
The lighthouse. This is like the second time we've been to the lighthouse, and it's only the first time that we've been inside it.
As fans will remember, the last time we were anywhere near the lighthouse was when Ronaldo had his whole spiel where he pretty much spoiled the end of the show.
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, no, that was in the lighthouse. You're right. Huh. Yeah. This is just Ronaldo's hideout, I guess. Does he live here?
I got that vibe, like, watching this, but also I was like, maybe I missed, like, an episode or something.
Is it not a dream of every guy to own and operate a lighthouse? Is that
We've
not
had this conversation, Robert. We've had this conversation.
Is that not the stereotype? To own and operate a lighthouse, just chilling by the sea. No one fucks with me. I have my lighthouse. I decide who lives or dies.
Yes, absolutely. The I decide who lives or dies. Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Well, as I walk up to this lighthouse, there are a couple like scarecrows in the background, which obviously comes up later.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Steven Universe wiki, this is a offhand reference to Children of the Corn, which I don't really see that. If it was in like a cornfield, then maybe.
Very offhand.
I mean, sure. We will get into those references a bit later.
Yeah. Actually, we're getting into some references now because they knock on the door and Ronaldo opens the door and he's wearing this conglomerate costume that's Phantom of the Opera, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman. What else do we see in there?
I think there's like one. I think you said the main ones, but
yeah, I think that's all. That's
Creature of the Black Lagoon, maybe.
I don't know.
All I know is that like Ronaldo is immediately shocked that Lars is there, and the mask falls off. That shit like breaks, and you hear like a porcelain breaking sound. I'm like, did Ronaldo have? Is he one of those like bougie motherfuckers who gets like a porcelain made replica of the Phantom of the Opera mask?
I would say yes.
Yes. Do you know how nerdy this man is?
I don't got money like that. Yeah, but
this is a nerd. He will spend the money on that.
I also do want to point out the mask is somehow going over his glasses, but it's also flush against his face. How does that make sense? It's a cartoon. Who cares?
It's a fitted mask that goes over his glasses.
Maybe it's like one of those those like magnets that like can snap on the glasses to like change for, holidays or whatever. I like imagine it's like that. Like he just somehow rigged it to magnetically seal against him.
Yeah. Sadie, this is the first time she's also meeting Ronaldo. She greets him warmly, and then Lars enters and Ronaldo asks Steven, like, wait, you're friends with Lars? And Steven's like, yeah, isn't everybody?
Literally no one is. Lars has no friends. Except Steven, who is forced friendship with, and Sadie, who is his coworker.
Who's his coworker / has the hots for him / also kind of hates him.
They have a love-hate relationship. It's fine.
Yeah. They enter the lighthouse and they are sitting in front of a TV and Ronaldo's like, hey, this is the film we're going to watch. It's Evil Bear 2. And this is probably a reference to like a different, I don't know, like Evil Dead 2 maybe is the first thing that comes to my mind. I don't even think that's a fucking movie. But for me, I'm like, oh, Evil Bear, Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's literally what I thought too. I was just like, this can't be a Five Nights at Freddy's like reference, is it?
No, it's not. This episode just like come out like just after I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a. Well, do you want to save the reference in the wiki for the end?
The references.
Yeah, we can save it for later.
Okay, we'll save it for later. But when I watched it, I had the same thought as Robert did about Evil Dead, because apparently this show loves Sam Raimi references. I mean, I don't really know that it's specifically referencing something. I was really trying to listen to like the lines from the movie later. But I didn't really pinpoint any particular film that it was pulling from. So I think it was just like let's mash up a bunch of shit and see what happens.
Do you think Evil Bear 2 shares the same universe as Cocaine Bear?
I was going to mention that too. I would absolutely see an Evil Bear versus Cocaine Bear movie. Like, make that happen, please.
What if the secret to making Evil Bear a good bear is to give him cocaine?
Yes.
Actually, no, wait. It could be like that. Because if you get a normal bear and you give normal bear cocaine, he becomes crazy and kills people. However, if you take an evil bear and you give it cocaine, who's to say? Lars is like, ugh, I've already seen this movie. It's boring and there's awful CGI. And Raldo's like, blasphemer! This is not the remake. This is the original. And here's the thing. Here's my opinion about CGI. It's good when editors and such are actually given the time to make it good. The first movie I can think of right now that everyone shits on the effects on is Thor: Love and Thunder. And that's because that movie was rushed out. So, hey, if you give editors and computer graphic designers enough time to make the CGI look good, then it's good.
Yes.
Exactly.
The other thing that comes to mind is like how George Lucas remade like the original Star Wars trilogy like 3 or 4 different times with like various levels of CGI.
Yeah.
Like after Phantom Menace came out. Like, can't wait to talk to Mary Clay from Skywalk about that one day. Her thoughts on it, if she's even like walked down that path yet. But
I want to see the side-by-sides of that, like all the different versions, to be like, why did you do this, sir?
Yeah, there's
it was
definitely
fine.
Yeah, there's definitely YouTube videos of that. And yeah, let's just say the original was better.
Sadie is shocked and surprised, and she's like, oh my god, wow, where'd you get a copy of this movie? Can I see the box? And then she's like, wait, Steven's little guy, is he gonna be okay for this movie? And Steven's like, yeah. And then he's watching it from behind the couch. He can't see anything. He's getting scared by the sounds. Like, little guy.
Like, did he choose this fate? Did someone else choose this fate for him? I want to know. Was he originally like on the couch and then he was like, nope?
Imagine if this was one of the things he mentions to say to Connie's mom later on, when she's like, so what traumas did you experience in your childhood? Well, I saw a scary movie.
Yeah.
Also, some gems tried to kill me about 50 times.
Yeah.
But mostly the movie. The movie was the most trauma.
The movie was a trauma, yeah. This is the equivalent of me whenever I watch like stuff like Saw and shit, where I'm like really like about the gore, and then I like put my shirt over my head. Well, the listeners can't see me doing that right now, but but that's the equivalent of like what I do whenever I can't watch a scene in a movie. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm doing that for when there's a lot of embarrassing parts in a movie.
Yes.
What does embarrassing mean? What are you, Charlie?
Like when a character is embarrassing themselves. I don't watch horror.
Like cringe, yeah.
Like cringy moments.
I thought you were being like a little kid. You're like, I don't watch when the adults kiss.
No.
That too.
I don't watch when straight people kiss. When straight people kiss, I look away. When gay people kiss, fantastic.
Ugh.
The only exception, as far as I know, Nick Offerman is straight, but his role in The Last of Us, he portrayed a very, very good closeted gay man. Love him. Well, not closeted until he came. Like, here's the thing. I can't say this. I'll say it later after we're done recording. But I have a thing I've always said about him. So as they're watching the movie, the power goes out, and everyone's annoyed, and Lars is like, oh, it's a blown fuse. Ronaldo immediately is like, it was a ghost. Boo.
A ghost. Ooh.
One of my favorite things about the word ghost is that it has like a little like a little beatboxing at the end, like ghosts. Mm-hmm. That ST is doing some extra work at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love Ronaldo's filing system though, because he's like, okay, it's a ghost, and he goes over, and all of like the files have G on them. So we got like ghosts, giants, gnolls, like so many things.
All the G words.
All the G words.
Ghosts, ghouls, goblins.
And he's pulling out this like little thing to talk to the ghost with.
That is just That's the Wikipedia generously calls it a pendulum. It is just a washer on a string.
Yeah. I half expected a Ouija board to come out because I was like, he's tempting fate over here with like.
Yeah. I mean, my brain is like, this is a Ouija without a board. Like,
pretty much.
He's like, oh, spirit, if you're here, show us a sign. And the spirit, quote unquote, takes the pendulum, just fucking yeets it at Lars' face. And then Ronaldo's like, give us more signs. And then like the filing cabinet opens up. All the papers are circling around them. Ronaldo's like, hey, rein it in. It's okay.
Yeah, it's giving very Poltergeist, which he references a little later. But
yeah. I want to know what this leap in logic is when he's just like, oh, well, this is going after a person. It's a poltergeist. And I'm like, I mean, yes.
So fun fact, I watched this episode with my boyfriend and a former guest of the pod, Mac, clap. And he was like, that's not correct. A poltergeist could be like, can be stuck tormenting one person, but it's about the location. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
it's just Ronaldo being a piece of shit.
Yeah, this is haunting a house. And the way that Ronaldo is like, it's haunting a person, but like, this is something that's in one place?
Yeah.
It's not really quite what he's saying it is.
Well, his logic would work if he had already known what we're about to see in the next scene. Yeah, I mean, it's all obviously before we see, the big reveal of the wall later. And it's like, how did you know? It just so happened to target Lars with the necklace thing or the washer thing. It's like,
I think he's just like, I don't like Lars in this moment, honestly. He's just like, why is he here when I'm doing the ghost shit again?
Yeah.
So Steven is very excited about this real life haunted house. The house is in fact trying to kill Lars though. We got like the coffee mug that almost like hits him in the face. They break the door down to escape and the door just like builds itself back up again. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And like the boys are arguing like, it's a ghost, it's not a ghost. And Sadie's just like, let's just get the fuck out. Guys, just get out.
Yes.
She would survive the horror movie.
Yeah, as always, it's usually the strong woman that's holding the group together and is, trying to get everybody else through the day. Although she does commit like a horror movie no of being like, I'm gonna wait for you guys, or whatever she says later of like, we're sticking together in the sense of like, we're gonna get through this haunted house together, when I would just be like, let's just get out. And if y'all want to stay behind and fight, that's on you.
Right.
Yeah. So they go all the way downstairs. The scarecrows are starting to like come into the lighthouse. They try to grab at Lars. Yeah. Then this is where he's like, oh, it's a poltergeist.
Because it's haunting a person. It's haunting
a person.
Which is not. It's about that like the poltergeist is attached to the emotionally disturbed, and Lars is like, "Are you calling me emotionally disturbed?"
Yes, you need therapy, Lars.
Yes, it's like, yes, honey, I'm so sorry, but yes.
I think most of the people in this fucking show need therapy.
Yes. Correct. Steven Universe therapy.
He's pissed at everyone, and he goes up to Sadie. He's like, Sadie, you don't believe in this nonsense. And Sadie, kind of does. The floorboards then open up and drag Sadie into a pit filled with red light. I made a terrible joke out loud when I saw this scene.
Oh, no.
Because, like, obviously the joke is like, oh, she went to hell. And I'm like, this is what you get for getting a non-binary partner in the future. You go to hell.
Guess my girlfriend's going to hell.
My boyfriend's going to hell too.
Yep.
Oh my lord.
I don't know if I'm going to keep that in or not. That's terrible. But I found it funny enough to say.
Listen, Sadie's gay. She's going to super hell, just like Castiel.
Oh my god, don't fucking remind me.
You're welcome. Here's your supernatural reference.
Well, another Sam Raimi reference, if we want to throw this in here, is that at the end of the 2009 movie, Drag Me to Hell by Sam Raimi, the spoiler alert, if you want to watch the movie, is that The quote unquote final girl ends up getting dragged to hell in the end by a bunch of demon hands. So it was giving very that. Like I said, this show, when it goes horror, it loves Sam Raimi.
Yeah, and like we all said, like Sadie would be the final girl, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
but she got dragged to hell. Oh well.
And then after she gets dragged to hell, oh god!
Listen, they go after her.
Listen, I can make that joke that I made because I'm non-binary. Anyway,
you can. It's true.
The door to the basement opens, and they're like, "Ooh, the basement." They go down to the basement, and then there is like this pulsing structure on the wall, and it has the word Lars there, and so everyone's like, "Oh fuck,
And
we gotta
scratched in.
we gotta like give Lars," and like forms a mouth, and it's like, "Oh fuck, we gotta give Lars to this mouth."
Like, okay, Steven is like, what the fuck? And then Ronaldo's like, I'm just gonna murder him. Like, throw him into
The answer is murder. When there's murder, that we must solve it with more murder.
Yep. He's like, we release Sadie, and here, have this as an offering, because you clearly want him anyway. Bruh? Ronaldo, can you stop trying to murder people on screen?
No, he's not. He's just lamb to the slaughter. So Lars is thrown into the mouth, quote unquote. Steven jumps in after him, makes a bubble, breaks the mouth, which then collapses everything. And I guess it's revealed it's a gem, so I guess that's enough damage to quote unquote poof the gem.
Yeah.
Do we ever get a name for this gem? No, it's just called a white gem.
There's a name on the wiki.
It just says white gem.
I saw white topaz.
Oh, white topaz. There we go. Well, hey, Charlie, where's Classroom Gems for the white topaz?
Shut up. I only do it for the actually ones that are named in the episode. So.
Wow.
Oh.
The ones that are named on the wiki do not count to me.
Hashtag justice for white topaz. Damn.
So Steven picks up the gem. Oh, Sadie's also alive, by the way.
Don't worry about it. She's just alive.
We're getting to the plot stuff.
Don't question it.
Everything crashed, and then like Sadie appeared in the debris, and it's like, oh, good. She's good.
Sadie just spawned. The white gem, white topaz, reveals a memory of young Lars and Ronaldo, who I don't like Ronaldo, but it's really cute that young Ronaldo went by Ronnie. That's cute. I like that. And so they make like a secret base in the lighthouse. And to commemorate the occasion, Lars carves his name into the wall with a screwdriver, and then a board like fucking whips him across the room. Ronaldo takes a picture of that. And Lars, because he's so self-conscious about what other people think about him, tears up the picture, gets into a scuffle with Ronaldo, and that's how he like ruins their friendship.
Like, listen, Ronaldo, okay, I understand that they're small children, but like, I don't really blame either of them. I don't know.
I was gonna say I felt bad for Lars. I was like,
yeah,
Ronaldo's kind of being a shitty friend. Like I get it, like kids, haha, it's gonna be all over the place. But like, if you see your friend and they're like distraught about how they look, I would maybe be like, okay, maybe I won't do that. maybe I'm just different personality wise to Ronaldo, but like I felt really bad for Lars. It's like I don't blame you for not being friends with Ronaldo anymore.
Yeah.
As someone who is also very self-conscious and has a lot of anxiety about that. Yeah.
Charlie, just stop having anxiety, Charlie.
You know what? You cured my anxiety. Thank you.
Oh my god, what am I doing making podcasts? Why am I not one of those people who like instead of selling fake pills on the internet, I just sell like fake healing for anxiety, and it's just a 2-second clip of me being like, don't have anxiety.
Robert, why don't you go back to doing Ask the Oracle and ask people their problems, and then they will tell you their problems, and you'll
people
be like,
still listen to
stop.
that fucking podcast. I logged onto that email a couple of weeks ago, and I had a few questions. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out. Nope.
You could cure people of all their mental problems.
I can't listen. That trope where it's like I can fix him. No, I can't even fix myself, let alone him.
No, you can't. It's true.
Could you fix Ronaldo and Lars though?
I can fix Ronaldo by pushing him into a volcano. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, honestly,
Here's the thing, because like when Mac and I finished this episode, I was like, man, I still hate Ronaldo. Like Lars at least gets a redemption arc.
Ronaldo does not.
Ronaldo just remains like a piece of shit for the entire series.
But like when you meet both of them, you think like separately, you think both of them are like the worst people.
Mhm.
Like, and then as you get to know them, you're like, oh, Lars, I understand. Ronaldo, why? Why?
I do love that Steven is like, stop, to Lars, he says, stop being a dink to Ronaldo. And I was like,
Stop being a dick.
I was like, oh, okay, we're just slipping that in there. Somehow that bypassed.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question about
Mhm.
Steven's powers. Again, sorry to the listeners that I haven't watched everything up to this point, but does Steven have enough control of his like bubble to do this?
That was a question I also had, because I
feel like at this point he doesn't, right? It's just kind of random.
Isn't this the first time Steven's made a bubble in like a good while?
Let's see if it's in the continuity. Does it say anything about that?
No, it
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't. Nothing about Steven's bubble. When was the last time Steven used the bubble? Because I know we've seen him at least like bubble gems and send the gems back home. We've seen him do that. So like that, don't have to question it. But the like breaking of the gem and poofing it part, I'm trying to think if any of these like recent episodes that he's done something like that or not. Maybe he's just like developing his powers, you know?
No,
As one does.
it doesn't say. It doesn't give. What's it called? Any the Wikipedia doesn't list things like that exactly. So who knows when the last time he used his bubble was?
I mean, maybe it's just reacting to his emotions too.
Because his powers are based on his emotions, if I recall correctly. Lars is also in the corner, being a mopey. He's like, I didn't mean to tear up the picture, and stop talking about me. This is also when they remember, just like me. Oh yeah, Sadie's here. Sadie, are you hurt?
Are you okay, Sadie? So I guess this gem like just attached to this house and was using that as its body. Like, this is some weird ass gem stuff that we've not seen before. Not quite. We've seen it like go into clothes. And what else?
Also, this has been around for at least, I guess, I don't know how old are Lars and Ronaldo? Like at
Good
least
question.
10 years,
They're
maybe?
teenagers.
Because in so maybe like 5 to 10 years, I would estimate, based on the flashback, depending on how old they were as kids. So this has been around for a while, and what is Steven, like 12 maybe? So
I want to know how the gem got in there. Because, like, I mean, we know lore-wise that all the gems have been on Earth for, like, thousands of years. So, like, how did this gem specifically get into the wall of this home? Was somebody hiding it in there and thought it was, like, valuable?
Do we ever find out anything about the white topaz?
Let's see. What's on her page? White topaz. Do we have anything? Corrupted gem first appeared in this episode. Like the pictures of the white topaz are actually just the pictures of the monster. The ability to talk, first gem monster to target an individual. It's unknown if she's corrupted even. We really don't know enough about her, but her name and design was revealed in Steven Universe End of an Era. So, really don't know a whole lot about this gem because it only appears in this one episode.
All right.
But you know what? Age 6,000 plus is what's on this wiki. So,
and she hardly looks a day over 5,000.
How? Why?
Good question. Very good question. Do we get an answer? We don't. The episode then ends with like Ronaldo walking up the stairs and being like, "Hey, Lars, you should take it down a notch," which is a callback to what Lars said earlier. And Lars is blushing like an idiot, and the iris closes on him. Can we make a gay panic joke?
Honestly,
but
I do think it's kind of gay.
I was going to say the opposite. I don't know that their energy is really giving that, but maybe it's just because I didn't really like Ronaldo's like energy. So I'm like, I don't want to ship them. right? Like,
yeah. Listen, if Ronaldo wasn't a dick and Lars could like get past, his emotional trauma, they could be a couple.
yeah, they could work it. If they work out their own issues from childhood, then maybe.
They have some things to work out. Maybe once Lars has become an anime protagonist in later seasons, then Ronaldo will be very into him. All right, Robert, guess what?
What's up?
We're gonna go to the Crystal Temple.
The Crystal Temple. Oh my
for some
gosh.
trivia.
Hey, so in 2015, Latin America and the Philippines aired this episode near Halloween.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, this is a Halloween episode, but did it air like February? You said?
Yes, February.
Hey, listen. Any time of year is spooky time of year. Okay.
Exactly. You get it. Even
it's
a difference.
Yes.
They in fact changed the name of this episode only 6 days before it aired. It was originally going to be called Beach City Horror Club, but they shortened it, which they've done with a few different episodes, like changed the name shortly before it was going to be released. They did that with So Many Birthdays, Lars and the Cool Kids, and Fusion Cuisine. But it's still called Beach City Horror Club in the international dubs.
I wonder why, because I feel like Beach City Horror Club is kind of like a play on, I can't remember what horror movie it is. Let me look. Sorry. And then I'll re-say it. Beach City Horror
Josh has the knowledge. He knows things.
Well, there's a few like beach party movies that kind of have like similar names, like similar play on words as this, that I feel like they were trying to reference, but I don't know why they just shortened it. But
that could have been a reference that they decided not to use. Rude.
Yeah, how rude of them. Well, yeah, so like we discussed, White Topaz is able to bring to life portions of this lighthouse, right? So we see them, kind of kicking Lars across the room. They, have this pulsating heart looking thing, maybe.
Real freaky.
Yeah, it's real freaky, but we don't see the actual physical form of this. Oh, look at this. A reference to Rose's room. The last episode I was on. So in Rose's room, this tiny pink whale had Rose's voice. This kind of insinuates that gems can take a form that isn't like themselves, like a physical form necessarily, and just kind of project it into different objects. Apparently inanimate objects as well. So,
yeah.
Because aside from the mouth, we hear, like the mouth itself, we hear the voice of the gem throughout the episode. So, like, where was it coming from? We don't really know.
I don't know. This is the first episode, apparently, where we don't have any of the other crystal gems. No garnet, no amethyst, no pearl.
Wow, this is the first one. Damn.
It's not even a little pop-up to be like, hey, what happened?
Literally just these 4 characters and the corrupted gem. Wild.
So yeah, just like I said earlier, Ronaldo's costume is a mashup of the Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, and it references the fake monster hands either being werewolf or creature from the Black Lagoon arms, but he does have the stitch pattern on his cheek, which is like reminiscent of Frankenstein's monster. It's the monster. I know. I read Frankenstein for the first time earlier this year. It's a weird fucking book, but God help me, it was good.
Yeah, it's one of the few I covered Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, which I think Bride is a superior film in terms of, those like universal horror movies from the 30s. But yeah, they were both leaps and bounds better than Dracula. Hot take, just for you listeners.
Good to know. I've only read the book, so... Apparently, we know what Evil Bear 2 is a parody of. It's Child's Play? Okay, yeah, because it is, in fact, like a stuffed bear. Works. Makes sense, right? That's Chucky's film. Yeah, that's Chucky.
Was Evil Bear supposed to be like a stuffed teddy bear?
Apparently.
because we didn't actually see the screen at any point, so I was like,
no, we didn't.
Is it
We were
an
just like,
actual
it's a
bear?
bear. But I guess it's a teddy bear of some kind, which is, I don't know. Maybe that's why Steven couldn't watch it, because he has a lot of stuffed bears.
oh,
And that would be some trauma for him.
got it.
You know, he can't think of MC Bear like that. But the
Very
title,
true.
yeah, it is actually a play on Evil Dead. The bear itself is a reference to who? Oh, this is an actual.
Yep, Teddy Ruxpin. That's a fucking terrifying bear. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Just a little
Lord.
bit. That has
Okay.
like Furby eyes. That's terrifying.
Ugh.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like this either.
And then there's the tagline of the movie is a reference to the theme song of this bear, Teddy Ruxpin. Come dream with me tonight instead of come scream with me tonight. Okay,
that's one reference I
Creepy.
did not get from this.
I'm just here. I'm not gonna get any of these references. I got the next one, but that's it.
I don't know, Charlie. You're the horror expert here.
Oh yeah, I watch all of them horror movies. Have I told y'all my girlfriend is a lover of horror movies, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Hey, you never know. You do crazy things for love. You might start watching them someday.
Then I will never be able to sleep again. Can't wait.
Then you can come on my podcast and talk about it. It'll be therapeutic for you. So as we're looking through Ronaldo's folders when he goes through the filing cabinet, there is a folder called Knowles, which is a reference to D&D, apparently.
Yeah, I've fought many a Knoll in Baldur's Gate 3. So I was like, all right.
Yes.
Knolls.
For those who are playing Baldur's Gate 3 and are listening, I am currently going through the Moonrise Towers area.
Yes.
Baldur's
Gate.
Woo!
And so Knolls, if you didn't already know, they're human hyena hybrids. They're fucking creepy guys.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like the kind of person I want to see in a dark alley. So as Josh said earlier, these scarecrows on crosses is a subtle, very subtle reference to Children of the Corn.
Yep.
Sure.
That sure is. I guess so. All right. I already mentioned Ronaldo's like whole like file cabinet of folders, but we only see the G's. We see gargoyles, genies, ghosts, ghouls, giants, gnomes, goblins, and gremlins.
Oh my.
Seriously. Oh my. There's also a folder on Geats, which is an Old Norse tribe. Which, why? Sure, I'm pretty sure that's like a Beowulf reference. I could be wrong, but
that sounds right.
Excuse me, Ronaldo? Why is that in there? There's also a misplaced folder that says fun size. Why is the F in here? We need the G's. And then there's another folder that we can't really read, but it starts with like 4 G's. This could be a reference to ghosts, which is what Shaggy says in Scooby-Doo.
Hey. So we do see a kind of like a poster or a photo or something in the background. Is this, I think this is in the lighthouse, maybe, of Steven with cat fingers from, our beloved Cat Fingers episode.
Yep. Because Ronaldo did take a picture of it. He's like, oh, that's so weird. Let me take a picture. Right. So I think we also saw this the last time we were in the lighthouse too.
Yep. Sadie's scar from fighting that invisible gem monster in Island Adventure is still seen in some of the scenes. Apparently it's not in all of them.
I'm glad we're keeping up that trend. She has a scar. Remember that time when Sadie kind of kidnapped Steven and Lars so they could stay on a deserted island and take a vacation so she could come on to Lars? Remember that? It was great. I hate that episode. So Lars has a red jacket in this episode, which he wore previously in Lars and the Cool Kids, where he attempted to look cool. Like, slung it over his shoulder, like, sup. You know? You know
the one. So there's a fence around the lighthouse, which this fence was put around the lighthouse from the Indirect Kiss episode, which I have never seen this one, so I'm not entirely sure.
That's where Amethyst like falls off the cliff and breaks her gem.
Oh,
so they have to like go and like figure out how to heal her. So like that's like a whole thing. That's just the inciting incident, but
got it.
The fence is important.
But is it up to OSHA standards?
Who knows? Probably not. It was built by the gems.
In the episode Keep Beach City Weird, Ronaldo mentions having psychic ghost powers. Most likely it's a reference to the fact that he's been chilling on a lighthouse that for many years was haunted and that he thought was a ghost.
Yeah.
Wild.
He did try to use his psychic ghost powers on them. That was a thing that happened that I wish I could forget. I don't like Ronaldo.
Hey friends, who are we giving our pearl points to this episode?
I'm thinking, were there any little guys in this episode?
I'm giving mine to the evil bear because in my mind he's just Freddy Fazbear.
I knew you would do that. I heard you start to say it and I'm like, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know what? I'll give mine to Sadie because you know what? She would be the final girl in a horror movie. She would make it out. Even though she almost didn't make it out in this episode, like she's the logical one in this group of people.
Yeah. I'm going to give my pro point to Sadie as well. And she kept a level head throughout all this, even though she was swallowed by a wall, by a floor and a wall.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. She's fine. She doesn't have trauma from it. It'll be okay.
You know, this episode gives me Monster House vibes.
Oh, that's right. I did think about that during, while watching it, and I totally forgot to say it. But yes, definitely Monster.
That is something House. I could cover on your podcast, Josh.
There we go.
Monster House.
Yes.
I was a small child and I was just like, oh, this is fine. This is a cartoon movie. And then I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's fine. Don't worry about it. There's nothing traumatic about that movie whatsoever.
Definitely not.
And the question, I don't know, what's your favorite horror movie?
Have you ever visited a haunted house?
Many. There used to be a guy near where I lived who would do a haunted house every year, and so for Halloween, and so every year we'd go in, and it was like a big thing amongst the kids, like, oh, go in, I dare you, and he knew this because he had like full bars of Kit Kats or Crunch or whatever, so he's like, the brave get rewarded.
Nice.
I mean, I was gonna go with, there's definitely like a ghost in my house type deal.
You didn't voluntarily go into a haunted house, I gather.
No, I don't mean the type of haunted house where somebody like dresses up and scares you. Have you gone into like a ghost tour like type deal?
No, but my sister and I can see ghosts, so I know that one of her apartments. Yes, one of her apartments, and one of her apartments was haunted. There's a guy who like stood out on the balcony, and one day I brought it up to her unprompted. I'm like, "Hey, Joe, is there like a guy who chills outside the balcony?" She's like, "Oh, you see him too?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Oh man.
I just live in a very old and creaky house that just like makes noises whenever like somebody walks places. Mm-hmm. So when you're home alone and the house is making those noises, you're just like, okay, who the fuck's here? Who's messing with me? We have a light that is a tap light. Like, that's the only way you can turn it on and off is that you tap it. And then sometimes it just turns itself off. And we're all just like, the ghost said it's time for bed.
Go the fuck to bed. I recently moved. So the house that we lived in didn't have any like creaking or anything. So when we moved here, it's a little bit of an older house. So it does have some creaking. Definitely you can hear people walk. There's no sneaking around. However, on the first night, we had a bunch of like boxes, obviously, because we had just moved. And there was like this plastic bag that had all of our bedding in it. Like, you know, those plastic bags that bedding comes in. It was on top of like a stack of boxes. And so it was like completely dark. in the room, no lights or anything. And so Frank and I are like cuddling in bed or whatever, you know, being all cute. And then we hear the bag fall from the boxes, and it was like kind of loud. And we were like, hello? Hello? Like we literally thought someone came into our room. So that was pretty scary. And then...
But was it super scary?
Oh, it was super scary.
Fantastic. Before we leave, Josh, if you want to remind everyone what you do and where they can find you.
Absolutely. Well, friends, I am Josh, your Ghostus with Mimosas from Super Scary. You can follow me at Super Scary Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. We release episodes every Monday. If you're listening to this during the summer of 2024, I am doing a mini series of camp Super Scary Part 2. Apparently I can't talk. Part 2, where we release every other Monday, since we're on kind of a pseudo hiatus. But we have a lot of fun over here. I just released an episode on Jennifer's Body for Pride. Love that movie. Even though it has some problematic language, it is very funny. So, and it has Megan Fox in it.
Can't go wrong with Megan Fox.
I am
not the only thing I know about it.
Right. I'm a very homosexual man, but damn if Megan Fox doesn't do something for me sometimes.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's me.
Good shit. Well, my friends, if every podcast were perfect,
then we wouldn't have the bits.
Bye.
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 You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Oseman Verse podcast called The Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Super Scary, a love letter to superheroes, sci-fi, and horror movies, hosted by Josh.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one Super Scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
Dave X Media.